Hi, my name's Jake Mills. I'm an AP Stats teacher at Evanston Township High School. I worked alongside John Mickelson, who is another AP Stats teacher at Evanston Township High School, to develop a unit titled Sampling Distributions in the CT Summer Institute this summer. This unit for us in the AP Stats curriculum comes about halfway through the school year. It's the beginning of inference in AP Statistics. Here, this gives you an idea of what our lessons look like. We begin with defining what is a sampling distribution. We move on to bias and variability. We look at proportions and the difference between two proportions, and then we move on to means and the central limit theorem. I'll show you our first lesson so you get an idea of the computational models that students are using in our first lesson. And the purpose of this first lesson is to give students hands-on experience with creating and using sampling distributions using a NetLogo model. Once the concept is understood, the lesson asks them to use sampling distributions to evaluate a claim based on informal reasoning. We haven't introduced the idea of a p-value yet, but through this lesson, they're evaluating claims and they're getting at the idea of a p-value, but we just haven't formally defined it at this point in the school year. So in this first model, if you click the setup button, you'll see 4 individuals. And the data that we're looking at in this example is AP scores from the previous school year, from the AP Stats exam. And so when you click Select Sample, it will select 2 of the individuals. It will show you their score. Students will record this in a data table below and then calculate the sample mean. If they want, they can calculate the mean by hand, or they can create a monitor and modify the code to analyze the sample mean of these 2. As they continue to collect sample, it will select a different group of 2 students. They record the data in the table below. They continue doing this until when they click collect sample, like you saw there, it has already selected all possible samples from that population. After they have the data in the table, they'll make a quick dot plot of those scores. And then later on, we formally define for them that a sampling distribution is the result of collecting all possible samples, in this case, of size 2 from the population of size 4 in this example. We build on to larger populations later in the unit, and then we compare proportions versus means, and we talk about how to approximate these sampling distributions as normal so that we can make inferences using our normal distribution calculations that we've learned previous in the school year. I hope this gave you a quick introduction and an overview of what we're doing. Again, the CT practices that our students will be working on in this unit is using a computational model such as NetLogo to collect a sample. We also involve some code app integration to visualize our scores through a data table, and then in this case, a histogram or a dot plot.